Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investor. My name is Sensei and I'm here to give you the news on the XRP ETF. The countdown begins. So I'm going to get straight into the news. This news was first published on our new newsletter. It is a newsletter that you definitely want to sign up to. It has all the insights before we even go live. You can use it during our lives. You can get the news straight away. So do consider signing up to the newsletter. The link will be in the description. It'll be the first link in the description, and it'll also be in the comment section. But here is the news, and I want to get straight into it. We're going to also look at the price action as well and the chart. So here it is. This is in this morning's issue of our newsletter. Remember, we do it every morning. There's deeper dives. We look at new tokens, everything. So this morning's issue that just came out, I want to bring the news to you. And what it is the SEC begins formal review of WisdomTree's XRP ETF. So the SEC has officially opened its review of WisdomTree's proposed spot XRP ETF. Remember, WisdomTree is a massive player in the space. A first for any US regulator handling XRP at this level. The step launches a 21-day public comment period where stakeholders can voice opinions on market manipulation risks, investor protections, and the fund's structure. Remember, that is standard, but they've got 21 days where the public can comment. The SEC will consider this input as part of its broader legal assessment. It has up to 240 days to issue a decision, putting a potential deadline towards the end of 2025, beginning of 2026. I think it will be around the 20th of January, something like that. But I'm not worried about the end of the deadline. I'm more excited about the fact that it is now onto its next step. And by the deadline, at the latest, they have to give a decision, yes or no. So that's why it's so crucial. We are at the next stage. They have to make a decision yet. Do I think it's going to take the whole time? No. Have I always said that the XRP ETF will be at the second half of this year? Most likely. Yes. So I still expect it second half of this year. So June to the end of the year, I'm expecting this XRP ETF. If it's going to be January the 1st, or January the 20th, 20 days late, I don't mind, but it is heating up now. The formal review has started, so this suggests a cautious but growing open awareness towards crypto ETFs and beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum. Multiple spot XRP applications, including Bitwise and Grayscale, are now under review. Meanwhile, Volatility Shares recently launched its first US-listed XRP futures ETF, XRPI. Remember, people are getting confused. We did a whole video on the different ETFs, and we haven't got an official spot ETF in the US. We do have futures ETF, we've got stuff on the CME, we've got a spot ETF in Brazil, but what's being talked about right now isn't a futures ETF, isn't a leveraged ETF, this is a spot XRP ETF. On Nasdaq, signaling rising institutional interest in XRP-related products. Remember, institutions can get involved with those futures ETFs. They trade futures on gold, S&P, all that sort of stuff. So they can definitely, it is definitely a good step that we have the futures one come out. It's going in the right direction. The next step is that spot ETF. Spot ETFs are even better because they have to hold the underlying assets, about 95% towards 100%. So still, any spot ETF approval will face intense scrutiny around surveillance and compliance standards, but WisdomTree have that knowledge. They've done it before. They can do it again. Why is this review a big deal? So in the past, XRP spot ETF applications were typically filed but never formally acknowledged or reviewed by the SEC. They were either withdrawn, ignored, or delayed indefinitely, especially during the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple over whether XRP was a security. What's new now is the SEC has formally acknowledged WisdomTree's application, initiated the review process, which includes opening it up to public comment, triggered a legally binding review timeline up to 240 days, meaning they must now either approve or deny it within that period. Again, the news has been out. I'll show you. I'll come back to what we've written here in a second. I just want to bring you this as well. So again, the news was out a couple hours ago. We reported on this a couple hours ago. The SEC is officially reviewing WisdomTree's proposed spot XRP ETF and now accepting public comments. We've got Brad Garlinghouse with something he's talked about ETFs a few days ago now. We will play that in a second. And Brad Garlinghouse 1 hour ago has posted this. The skull of Satoshi was originally built to call action to blockchain energy usage, and today it's a symbol and reminder of Bitcoin's incredible staying power to many around the world, including me. As crypto and blockchain technology become widely used, respected, and understood, it's past time that we set aside our differences and work together to move the industry forward. I hope this gesture continues to remind folks that we, Bitcoin, XRP, and other crypto communities have more in common than we think. What he's talking about here is all the Bitcoin maximalists, the ones that say there should be no other cryptocurrency beyond Bitcoin. There is no need for it. They will never invest in anything else. They will never accept anything else, and they are quite toxic in the space. They are quite rude in the space, and they're quite and they're anti-innovating together. They're in their own bubble, and there's been issues with this. And what Brad's saying here is, there is issues with Bitcoin, but I like Bitcoin, including me. What we need to do now is all work together, and that's in reference to this. What they've donated to Bitcoin 2025. So let me zoom out a bit. A special guest at Bitcoin 2025, the skull of Satoshi, donated by Ripple to the Bitcoin community. The skull will now have a permanent home at the Bitcoin Museum in Nashville. So you can see what they've donated. They're trying to put out an arm and say to the Bitcoin community, we want to work with you and we don't have anything against you. Let's put behind us the differences that you've had with us previously, and let's continue. So I'm going to play this as well. So let me bring that there. Let me just see. Let's read this from the newsletter again, and then I'll bring you the ETF video as well. Where were we? This is the first time the SEC has formally entered a decision phase on the spot XRP ETF, not just accepting the filing, but actively reviewing it in a set timeline. Unlike previous proposals that quickly stalled or expired, this one now faces a real yes or no outcome. What's the more likely outcome? Yes. And that's my thoughts anyway. But they have to make a decision. This isn't about delaying it, doing this, doing that, or they've it's on to its next step, and they have to say yes or no at this point. Combined with the SEC's recent green lights for Bitcoin ETFs and the Ripple ruling clarifying XRP status in secondary markets, this signals that XRP is finally being taken seriously at the institutional level. It is no longer a long shot, it's officially on the table. We do have a poll within the newsletter. Please, if you're watching live, if you're watching later, go and vote on the poll as well. So this was really the first time you had an institution being able to go on to this is an unlock for a couple reasons, whether you're a pension fund or even mutual funds that didn't or couldn't access crypto. Now they can. This is an entire industry of crypto. The Bitcoin ETFs was the fastest ETF ever to get 1 billion in assets. I think it will pass 10 billion in assets faster than anyone as well. And today I think we're eventually going to close in on the gold ETF. So he's talking about why ETFs are important and how institutions can get involved. I apologize, I couldn't play the full thing for you. We do also have the XRP chart at the bottom of the newsletter. So as this comes to an end, please go down to the comment section and the description and sign up to the newsletter. But it's the same as yesterday. Why? Because this is such an important level. XRP is retesting the $2.30 level on the daily time frame. This is a key decision point. If it holds, momentum target shift towards $2.60. If it breaks down, expect a move back to the $2 support zone. There's the chart. You can see we're sat at $2.30 still around those levels. If that breaks, get prepared for $2. If that holds, I'm more in the camp it will hold as long as the broader markets stay up, or it might have a little wick towards the downside, then hold $2.30. Then we are targeting $2.62, which is the 786 from the all-time high. So do keep an eye on that $2.30 level. Again, this content is informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Always do your own research. This is not financial advice. So thank you for tuning into this quick update. I hope you appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you go and check out the newsletter. There's also the new YouTube the premium Discord with all the training videos if you want to learn how to read technical analysis. Those will all be in the description and the comment section below. Do check out these two videos around here. But until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.